Welcome, Tailgate Legends. It is week 5. Yeah, we're coming into week 5. Um, Things could not be closer. Everybody's still pretty much in it. I know, there's one division that's 3-1. Half the teams are 3-1, the other half are 1-3. Our division's a little bit closer, but overall, scores are pretty tight. Um, yeah, each week there's a couple upsets. It's been a really fun start to the season. Depends on how you define fun though, I guess. But so I have a really good video today. Gonna walk through and give my 2 cents on the trade that happened today. I'll run through last week's matchups. I'll run through next week's matchups, and today I am running through my personal Mount Rushmore of fantasy football players. We'll get into that later. But to start, we'll get right into it. There was a trade today. We have public enemy number 1, Whitey, trading with Cheeseheads with Attitude, Landon. I like the trade here. We have public enemy number 1 giving up Zay Flowers and a second rounder. And then we have Cheeseheads with Attitude giving up Jerome Ford, a first rounder. Jerome Ford and a first rounder. Okay, so let's break it down a little bit. First of all, Zay Flowers is a rental. I think Landon knows that, but Zay Flowers is a rental. So Whitey forgot to extend him this season. So there is that. Now Whitey gives up a second rounder. The second rounder I'm good with. Cheeseheads with Attitude on Landon's side. He's giving up Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford is, like he says in here, that's just a salary cap thing. And then he's giving up a first rounder. So I really like this move. I think, you're looking at basically the difference between a first and a second rounder. And he's getting Zay Flowers. I think Landon has a good team. I think he needs another receiver. I know Lamar Jackson might be out for a week or two, maybe 3 weeks. I don't know. But Zay Flowers can be just a high volume, high ceiling player. So I really like the move for both teams. Whitey gets another first round pick and kind of gets out of that rental stuff, and Landon's just doing everything he can to put himself in position to win. So I like it. I really like both sides here. Okay, so let's go through last week's matchups. Okay, if I can find it here. Sorry, give me 1 second. Should have had this ready. Okay, first matchup. Public enemy number 1, Whitey, going up against Pitts Creek Boggs. Wait, nope, just kidding. That's week 3. We're on to week 4. Just kidding. All right, we have A-Chan, your brown neighbors, Burns, up against Touches Penix, Lemish. Lemish actually comes away with the win, 135 to 132. I mean, it sucks, losing neighbors on Burns' side. Yeah, because he did put up a good week, and then he's got neighbors with 3, and then A.J. Brown with 1.7. Yeah, I mean, he's struggling with his receivers. Rashee Rice out, some injuries. A.J. Brown just not getting the ball, and then again, like Malik Neighbors just got hurt, so that sucks. On the other side, you have Lemish. I don't know. I've said it a couple times. Like, Lemish's team is sneaky good. I just feel like he's gonna have some low-scoring weeks, but there's also some weeks where he's gonna put up some points. So I don't know. I think Lemish. I think this is his first win of the year, but I think he could sneak into the playoffs here. I don't know if he will, but his team is not bad. His team's pretty good. So, all right, well, we'll see. On to the next. We have public enemy number 1 now, Whitey, up against Sam & Co. Sam. So this is a weird matchup. So Sam wins. However, you have public enemy number one, Whitey, left Terry McLaurin on his bench. Super weird. And then on the other side, you have Sam and Co. also leaving Jalen Warren on his bench, or in his starting lineup. Sorry, McLaurin and Warren, both in starting lineups, both ruled out of their respective games, and both were started. That's weird, especially from those two. Like, those two teams are normally really good at making sure they have a set lineup. So, not sure what happened there. But again, Sam and Co., they come away with the win. Didn't have a great week. They only put up 92 points. Amon Ra had a good week. Rome and JSN, like, okay weeks. And then on the other side, Whitey's team just isn't that good. J.K. Dobbins is leading scorer at 16. Caleb Williams at 14. So not even a ton of bench points. I mean, Sam and Co. had 34 from Justin Fields on the bench, but I mean, you're not starting him over Lamar. All right, so on to the next. We have Pitts Creek Boggs going up against Evan Shear. This was a rough one because Boggs ends up winning 164 to 142. Evan is the second highest leading scorer, and Evan left James Conner in his starting lineup, who was ruled out. The person that he would have started would have been Drake London. I mean, he would have had to start Drake London, right? You're not starting anybody else in that. Yeah. Drake London, if he is in a starting lineup over James Conner, Evan wins this matchup. But you just got to pay attention, man. Thursday night football, shit happens. I get it. But Evan loses because of that move. Conversely, Boggs had a stellar week. Mahomes with 35, Cook with 26, George Pickens with 32, and then Hall and Kamara both over 10 points. I mean, he just had a really good week. Not only that, but his bench. I mean, Drake May had 28 on his bench. Talking about Boggs, Jordan Addison with 15, Kendrick Miller with 17, Marvin Harrison with 15. Dude, and even on Evans' bench had C.J. Stroud with 25, Romeo Doubs with 28, Drake London with 23, Xavier Worthy with 17. I mean, two high-powered offenses, man. Those are two good teams. So, doesn't matter what your record is. You just got to keep going. All right, next we have Kraft Yak and Cheese. Lemke up against Prusky. And Prusky gets the win, 116 to 113. No team really had, like, an outstanding week, but Prusky gets it done with 116 points. Omarion, 30. Quentin Johnson with 18. Cortland Sutton with 18. Chase McLaughlin with 17. Your kicker got you 17 points. That's pretty much how you won. On the other side, Lemke, Spencer Rattler, 20. Justin Jefferson had 17. Kyron with 14. So, it was an okay week. And then next matchup, we have Cheese Heads with Attitude Landon up against me, the underdogs. Dude, I come away with the win, 140 to 131. However, it wasn't what I was hoping for. I mean, Jordan Love had a good game. Mason had an okay game. McCaffrey had a good game. Bijan had a good game. But then you look at Jamar Chase, only 2 points. Brock Bowers, only 6 points. The Packers defense, -1. I mean, it's just really not what you're looking for. And if you look at my bench, like, nobody even scored points on my bench. On the other side, Landon, Josh Allen got him 33. Bucky got him 27. Quinshawn with 26. DK with 25. Yeah, I mean, if he leaves the Dolphins defense in his lineup, he switched it to the Carolina Panthers defense, who got him -1. But if he would have kept the Dolphins defense in there, he would have won. So that's just the way it goes, though. So on to the next here. We have Yacht Pump and Munch against Ricky 2000 Roofer. Yacht comes away with another win. Bo Nix with a good game. Josh Jacobs with a great game, 36 points. DeAndre Swift, Nico with 17 and 10. On the other side, you have Ricky 2000 put up 134. Like, most times, most weeks, that's good enough to win, but not this week. But he did have Saquon with 16, Egbuka with 20, Puka with 31, Texans defense with 20. It's a really good showing, but not quite good enough. Okay, so All right, on to my personal Mount Rushmore of fantasy football players. Now, I want to let everybody know this is not okay. So I'm going to explain what I mean by my Mount Rushmore. I don't mean that they are my best players, like the best players in fantasy football. I'm talking about my personal favorite, not by stats, not by anything other than just who is on your Mount Rushmore. Who do you love most fantasy football wise, like throughout your entire life? And it could be for any reason. Like, I don't care. It could be for any reason. It's just your Mount Rushmore. And I have a few weird-ish guys, but I'm gonna get her going. These are my top 4 just favorite fantasy football players in my lifetime. Number 1, and he is number 1. This is in order. My number 1, which I guess is not really in order. That's not really the spirit of Mount Rushmore. So it's not in order. Just kidding. Okay, number 1, I have Torrey Holt. Now, Torrey Holt was the first player I ever drafted in fantasy football, ever. The year that I drafted him, I'm pretty sure he had like 1,600 yards, touchdowns. I don't know. I remember the first year I ever played fantasy football, I won. I had Torrey Holt. Torrey Holt was my best player. He was my first pick. He's the first player I've ever taken in fantasy football. I was like 15 or 16 probably. And I drafted Torrey Holt each year. So I played in one league the first 3 years that I played fantasy football, and I drafted Torrey Holt first overall with my first pick all 3 years. I won one championship with him. But even if I didn't win a championship with him, he would still be on my Mount Rushmore just because he is like the player. When I think about getting into fantasy football and why I love it, I genuinely think about the greatest show on turf, Torrey Holt, just catch after catch after catch, and how much I loved watching it and how much it fell in love with the game. And Torrey Holt is a big piece of that. So Torrey Holt, he's on my Mount Rushmore. Second, my second player that I have on my Mount Rushmore, Aaron Rodgers. I do have Aaron Rodgers on my Mount Rushmore. I have had Aaron Rodgers on more of my fantasy teams than probably any other player. I do have a championship with him. I probably have a couple championships with him. But, Aaron Rodgers has played football for 20 years, and I've been playing fantasy football for like 25 years. So Aaron Rodgers has literally played football almost as long as I've been playing fantasy football. Most people know Boggs and I shared a team in Woodchucks, a league that Roofer ran. We've shared a team for over 10 years. And one player that we drafted more than anybody was Aaron Rodgers. We took him in the first round like 6 years in a row, dude. We just Aaron Rodgers, just lock it up. Just Aaron Rodgers. I've just had, fantasy football-wise, had more fun watching Aaron Rodgers and having Aaron Rodgers on my fantasy football teams, probably more than any other player. So, yeah, got Aaron Rodgers on there. Okay, my third player is Jonathan Taylor. I love Jonathan Taylor, and he won me. He was a pivotal part of me winning both of my championships in Tailgate. And to be honest, Tailgate is probably my personal most coveted fantasy football league I've ever been in. Not because I'm the commissioner, but it is with just a lot of great guys. It's a really good group. It's just a really great dynasty league. The dynasty league does get a little bit of bias. This league gets a little bit of bias just because it is a dynasty, and you tend to have those players longer than like redrafts, where a redraft, you might only have a player for once or twice in their career. Where in a dynasty, dude, you get that player for as long as you want, up to 5 years. You know what I mean? But Jonathan Taylor helped win both of my championships. Last year he was the number one running back in the playoffs, and he kind of sucked in the regular season, but here we are. And same with like it was his second year in the league that I won my first championship. Um, I just love Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, so I got Jonathan Taylor up there as my third guy on my Mount Rushmore. And last but not least, and this is I don't know. I was between like 4 or 5 people here. I did put a lot of thought into it. And last but not least, I have Justin Jefferson on my Mount Rushmore. There are a lot of players that I could have chosen. I won one championship with Justin Jefferson, but getting him for the first 4 years of his career was just so fun. The plays that he made that I got to enjoy that much more. There were just so many. I don't know. So I'm going with Justin Jefferson here. So my 4 are Torrey Holt, Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Jefferson. Those are my 4. A couple of notable mentions. A.J. Dillon. I almost had A.J. Dillon on here, and I'll tell you why. A lot of you are going to be like, why the would you have A.J. Dillon on there? Remember my first championship. So Monday Night Football, or maybe it's either Sunday or Monday Night Football. The Packers are playing the Vikings. I'm going up against Roofer in the championship. Roofer has Devontae Adams. I have A.J. Dillon. So Devontae Adams ends up with 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. A.J. Dillon has nothing. And Roofer and I are pretty close in scoring. I literally took a 5 milligram melatonin so that I would fall asleep because I was so mad that I lost again. And it would have been the 3rd year in a row that I lost, or I think the 3rd year in a row that I would have lost, or 3 out of 5 years, or yeah, 3 out of 5 years, something like that, or 3 out of 4 years, I mean. And I wake up, man, I wake up and I see all these text messages, and it's just like, congratulations, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God. Dude, I literally would not, if I didn't get those text messages, I would not have even checked the score. I was so mad. So, yeah, I go in and I check, and A.J. Dillon scored like 28 points in the second half of that game. I have never loved I don't think I've ever loved a fantasy football player as much as I loved A.J. Dillon in that moment. And man, I love A.J. Dillon. It was really hard for me to let him go like a year or 2 later. But man, the memory that I have of A.J. Dillon winning me that championship is like just next level. You know what I mean? I couldn't put him on there because there weren't that many moments. There was just that one moment basically where the other guys, it's happened a few times. So A.J. Dillon's out there. Maurice Jones-Drew, I almost put on there. I have a Maurice Jones-Drew jersey. I used to love MJD. The problem is I don't think I ever won a championship with him. And I think I had him like 2 or 3 of his years, 2 or 3 years in his prime. And I don't think I ever won a championship with him. So I did have MJD up there. And then the other guy I considered was Nick Foles. This is another Woodchuck story. Boggs and I won a championship in Woodchucks. We redraft for the playoffs. So during that draft, so in between the regular season and the playoffs, we do a whole nother draft of playoff players. So Nick Foles was going in as the Eagles starting quarterback because Carson Wentz got hurt. Well, Boggs and I kept on passing up on quarterbacks. Finally, all the quarterbacks are gone in that draft. So we're just like, well, we still need a quarterback, so we drafted Nick Foles. And Nick Foles, that was Big Dick Nick year, and he goes on a tear and wins us a championship, and I'm like, oh my God, this is wild. But yeah, so I almost had Nick Foles up there, but again, it's like, he did have one cool run in fantasy football for me, but it just wasn't quite enough. And there's plenty of other guys too, but yeah, so my Mount Rushmore personally, Torrey Holt, Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Jefferson. Let's go. All right, enough of that. Let's move on to next week's matchups here. Okay, so things are getting pretty tight too. So I think in our division, 4 teams are 2-2. So we'll see, man. All right, first matchup we have public enemy number 1, Whitey, up against H-Han, your brown neighbors, Burns. Okay, so we have Kyler against Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is just so good. Devon H-Han against J.K. Dobbins. I'm taking fucking H-Han. ETN against Woody Marks. Taking ETN. Kenneth Walker. T. Higgins. Taking Kenneth Walker. A.J. Brown and Terry McLaurin. Who knows? Who cares? Darius Slayton against Hunter Henry. Oh, Whitey doesn't have a fucking full lineup set. Well, whoever he starts, I'm taking Darius Slayton, maybe. I don't fucking know. Jake Ferguson against Hunter Henry. Taking. Yeah, he does. He doesn't have a full lineup. Jeez, it's confusing the crap out of me. Taking probably Hunter Henry. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take Burns in this. Burns' team is so good. I'm watching the Niners-Rams game. Dude, Mac Jones is dealing. Man, kind of wish I had Demarcus Robinson on my team right now. All right. Next, we have Touches Penix against Shear. So we got Mac Jones against Baker Mayfield. Mac Jones having a pretty good game. Gibbs. So I don't know. That's a toss-up because Baker might not even play. And then he's stuck playing Darnold or Stroud. Probably doing Darnold, but who knows. And then Gibbs against Taylor. Dude, that could be close. Both running backs are just going bonkers. Ashton Genty against Javonte. That could also be a wash, but I would take Ashton Genty there, I think. Devontae Adams against Diggs, taking Adams. Pittman against Myers, taking Pittman. Worthy against Wilson, taking Wilson. McBride against Kelsey, taking McBride. So yeah, I am going to take Evan in this one. But again, man, Lemish's team is good enough to win for sure. All right, next we have Sam and Co. Sam against Pitts Creek, Boggs. All right, who we got? Justin Fields against Mahomes, assuming Lamar Jackson doesn't play. Sorry, watching the game. All right, I'm going to take Fields there. I know Mahomes had a good game last week. I don't know if he continues it. I don't know. James Cook against Scattaboo. I'm taking James Cook. Breece Hall against Keenan Allen. That's a tough one. That's a lot. That might be a toss-up. Chris Godwin against Alvin Kamara. Probably taking Kamara. Probably. Tedero McMillan against JSN. I would take JSN. Outscoring him. And then Amon-Ra against Pickens. Dude, that's going to be close. I'm going to take Amon-Ra, but we all know Pickens could go nuts. Dude, every time McCaffrey touches the ball, I'm just like, please don't fucking get hurt. Fucking please. Okay. So I'm going to go, God. This is a tough one. This is a tough matchup. I am going to go. I'm going to go with Boggs on this one. Man, Cam Scatteroo I like. I don't love. Fields I like. Fields can go nuts, though. I'm going to go Boggs, but man, that could go either way. All right, next we have me, the Underdogs. Dude, which, by the way, I did that name just to kind of, just fuck around a little bit. But now it's, for real, man. My team is fucking struggling. But, I don't know. I face Prusky, shit the bed Fred this week. We'll see how she goes. All right, we got Jared Goff against Jaden Daniels. That could go either way, because I think the Commanders, who do they play? Commanders play the Chargers. Yeah. That could be tough. That could be really tough. All right, then we got Omari and Hampton against Jordan Mason. I'd probably take Hampton there. We got David Montgomery against McCaffrey. I mean, I guess I'll take McCaffrey. Jamar Chase against Quentin Johnson. I'm taking Q there. Debo against Lad McConkey. Taking Debo. Cortland Sutton against Brian Thomas. I'm taking Sutton. Evan Ingram against Brock Bowers. That's a wash. Yeah, I'm actually going to take Prusky in this one. I don't even know if it's going to be that close. My team is just not very good. Dude. Bijan's on a bye. That sucks. Dude, McConkey, Brian Thomas, Brock, Jamar, all four of those guys. You can pretty much guarantee that they're going to score under 10 points. At all four of those guys. You can pretty much lock it up. So that's frustrating, but what are you going to do? All right, next we have Kraft Yak and Cheese, Lemke against Ricky 2000, Roofer. Hang on. Wait for me to watch this play real quick. All right. We got Dak Prescott for Lemke against Justin Herbert for Roofer. So I'm going to take Dak there. And then we got Chase Brown against Saquon. Taking Saquon. Kareem Hunt against Chuba. Take Chuba there. Kyron Williams against Emeka Egbuka. That's probably a toss-up. Justin Jefferson against Puka. That could be a toss-up too. Waddle and Judy. I guess I'll take Waddle, especially with Tyreek Hill out. Zach Ertz against Sam Laporta. I think I would take... Oof, that could go either way. Absolutely could go either way. Come on, McCaffrey, please get in there. I need you. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take Roofer. I'm gonna take Roofer in here in this one. I just think Saquon and Puka, Egbuka. I just think he's got a really good team. Lemke's got a good team too, though. So, and then last but not least, we have Cheeseheads with Attitude, Landon up against Pump and Munch, Yach. Dude, Josh Allen against Bo Nix. I'm gonna take Josh Allen there. Could go either way, but I'm taking Josh Allen. All right, hang on. I gotta watch this McCaffrey play, please. Oh my God, they gave it to Juszczyk. He got stuffed, bitch. Should have given it to McCaffrey. Derrick Henry against Tony Pollard. Definitely taking Henry there. Quinshon Judkins against Nico Collins. That's probably a toss-up, but I like the floor of Quinshon Judkins. Keyshawn Boutte against Chris Olave. I'm going to take Olave there, but not by much because he's not that good. Zay Flowers against Devontae Smith. Dude, I'll take Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith, he's going to blow up eventually, right? Demarcus Robinson, Dalton Kincaid. Damn, Pumpkin Munch is going 2 tight end set. Dalton Kincaid and Darren Waller. Well, I'll take Kincaid there, and I'll also take Darren Waller against Juwan Johnson. I'm going to take Pumpkin Munch. Nope, I'm taking Landon here. I think this is close, but I don't know. I feel like Landon just has a much higher ceiling, right, with his points. I think. But, all right, well, that's all I got. Yeah, so far it's been a really good start to the year. I hope it continues. I hope my team stops sucking. But we'll see. All right, we'll talk to you guys later.